So I think one of the biggest mistakes that bodybuilders especially make when they transition to a vegan diet is not realizing sort of how much food they're going to have to consume, especially if they're already a massive guy, their calorie needs are quite high. Vegan foods are naturally more nutrient dense but less calorie dense, which is a good thing, to be honest. It means you feel full without having to ingest tons of rubbish calories. So making sure that you're actually tracking the foods that you're eating and not just going off how you're necessarily feeling. You might feel full, but have you hit the macronutrients, the micronutrients that you need? And once you get a feel for how much you need to ingest on a day-to-day basis, you don't necessarily need to track it anymore. It becomes almost subconscious, you're tracking. But initially, I think the biggest mistake people make is not necessarily not tracking what they're eating.
The biggest mistake that vegan bodybuilders make, I guess it's kind of general because some people aren't going to do this mistake, but I think a lot of people don't eat enough cooked foods. I think a lot of people rely on fruits when they first go vegan. They really get into the raw food thing. And that's good. Like, it's great to eat fruits, it's great to eat vegetables, it's great to eat raw. But I think when you eat raw foods, you don't get enough calories in a lot of times. And so you might be full because of all that fiber, all the volume, but then you end up eating only 2,000 calories when you used to eat 4,000 calories. And then you say, I don't know why I'm not able to gain mass as much. It's because you're not eating the same amount of calories.
That's really a huge mistake. I see people focusing way too much on protein. I mean, before going vegan, I was getting way more protein than I needed. I was getting like 200 grams of protein from animal products, and I wasn't that heavy. I'm not that big, that tall, so I don't need that much protein. Right now, I have around 130, 140 grams of protein per day, but that's way too high for most people. It's like I work out 6 times a week. I kind of do this. This is what I do. I bodybuild, I do social media, and now in the fitness space. So I need that, but most people can get away with very low quantities of protein as long as the calories are there.
Maybe in terms of training, something I don't agree with. Like, people always say that you've got to shake up the routine to shock the muscles. You know, muscles don't have memory like that. I think it's good to be consistent in your training because then you can actually track your progression. If you're changing the exercises you're doing all the time, you can't actually track your progression. So I like to take it back to the basics.
The only real large mistake I see vegan bodybuilders make, and it's the same mistake that all bodybuilders tend to make, 9 times out of 10, if you're not progressing, it's because the nutrition is off. And if we are eating a more healthful diet, these foods, the legumes, the whole grains, fruits, the vegetables, they're more calorically kind of bereft, like calorically deplete. Much of the foods, animal products and processed junk is calorically really dense. And so we have to eat like a greater volume. Just number one, guys and girls, weigh yourself on a weekly basis, say on a Monday for argument's sake, before the loo, after you eat and drink, first thing in the morning there, and just make sure if you're trying to put on muscle, that your body weight is going up just that little bit, and that's all we need. Obviously we need a bit of protein in there as well, but we need the calories. If not, we burn protein as fuel.
They're training on a calorie deficit most of the time and are not getting the gains that they should be getting. So when you go from an animal-based diet that's really rich in fat and calories, and it's very calorie dense, and then you go to a plant-based diet, the same volume of food is going to naturally be lower in calories. And so sometimes people make the mistake of not upping their protein intake, not upping their calorie intake while they're training as hard as they used to. And so that can be an issue. So I think it's the transition, what to replace with what. So if a chicken breast gives you X amount of grams of protein and you're used to eating that and you have a bowl of rice with that, then what other plant-based protein would give you X amount of protein, an equal amount of protein with that bowl of rice? And so I think a lot of people make the mistake of under-eating.
I think most people get overly concerned about the numbers, like the amount of protein that they have to hit. That's one of the most common things that I see when people are transitioning, is they still want to hit this like macronutrient ratio that they were kind of hitting before when they were eating like a meat-centered diet, and they say, my trainer's telling me I have to get 250 grams of protein in a day, and I just don't know how I'm doing it. I can't do it on a plant-based diet. And so yeah, changing that sort of mindset and just like trying to get them to understand that it's more about like the quality of the food and just the total calories, like making sure that you're in like a surplus versus like worrying that you're just eating like just enough protein or like these individual macronutrients. There's so much more to building muscle than just like protein.
What's going on YouTube? Thank you so much for watching this video. It was a real honor to feature all of those amazing vegan athletes, and as you can see in the corner of my screen is some Vivo Life vegan protein powder. A lot of the athletes in this video actually consume that product every day, and I've got to say thank you to them for sponsoring this video. And if you want an exclusive discount on that product, please check out the link down below and you'll be able to get to their website and take advantage of the amazing discount. It's an amazing product. Thank you again to Vivo Life. I'll see you guys very soon.